Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Hello.
Hello.
We'll begin shortly. I was supposed to be here 10 minutes early, and we're planning to start around two o'clock, and then we're just gonna hand it off, and then we're gonna go till 2:50 instead of 2:45 because our judging is running a bit late.
Thanks. Hi, Suzanne.
Hi, Ellie. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Are we in a breakout room?
No, not right now. So this is the primary room for the panelist discussion. We're planning to start around 2:10 instead of 2 o'clock. We're delayed about 5 to 10 minutes because our judging ran a bit late. So at 2 o'clock, I'm just going to introduce everyone and then hand it off to Dr. N, and then we're going to start at 2:10.
Okay, that sounds great.
So the only time you guys need to be concerned with is 2:10. That's when we'll start.
2:10. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Around 2:10, I'm going to introduce the panelists. But for now, everyone can just sit tight because we are running a bit late because our judging went a little bit longer than expected. So for now, everyone can just chill until around 2:10. Hi, Dr. N.
Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to see you. I actually was at one session which is still going, so I would like to ask everybody maybe to give a few more minutes for one of the judging panels to finish, and meanwhile, I have to share with those who are present here that we are one panelist short due to the fact that Dr.
Deepak. Dr. Deepak.
Yeah, Dr. Deepak is actually called to the surgery. So it is very much in line with what we're kind of investigating here, what the topic. It is actually great that we are not really a gathering of theoretics or people who are far away from reality. All present here are practical or active players of the public health and personal health. So that's what will happen. So I was wondering, I wonder, Fike, if you can share, do you have the...
Yeah, I have it open. So Anish told me we're gonna wait till 2:10 just to let everybody join, and then I'll share the slide, and then I'll just introduce everyone, and then I'll just hand everything off to you.
I thought that the best thing would be if our panelists will introduce themselves, because sure. I also hope that they can also tell something about the scientific interest. But sure. If you want, you can do the introduction, and then I will I will go further with their scientific interests.
Sure.
I know some of what they're interested in, and will be most curious to hear further about. So we are moved for another 7 minutes. So I will try to entertain everybody
sure.
As far as we are here for. So first of all, I can tell you that I think that we are really venturing into something interesting because the whole big data challenge as the I'm seeing it mostly from the pedagogical side of view, but I find that especially undergraduate big data challenge develops into the dimension beyond interesting pedagogical format. And here it is interesting that participants already familiar, already comfortable with this online education, and it is not such a novelty for them. It is not such a breakthrough when you're taking out high school students out of the classroom and exposing them to the richness of the internet-based education. Here, our participants are already learners, already digital learners, and we see in their projects, they are not only learners, they are already researchers which accumulate knowledge, information, data from any possible sources, and that is my biggest kind of finding and my biggest appreciation. What I see in undergraduate big data challenge, that I see it is as a new form of scholarly activity. I can offer the idea of, let's say, crowdsourcing of knowledge, but it is not really crowdsourcing, because crowdsourcing or brainstorming, it is limited in time. And here we have quite an interesting phenomena. Michael, what do you think? I see you have did you have a chance to listen to presentations? And Michael?
Sorry, I was looking for the mute button, which was hidden from me. So no, so apologies. I didn't get a chance to go through and listen to all the various different video submissions, but everything that you said, I think, resonates quite well with me in terms of you know, where it is we're moving to in sort of a sector. So with myself working in the pharmaceutical industry and the healthcare sector itself, we are very much in the middle of a significant transformation for us, which involves an intersection of, you know, what we know as biology and science and you know, clinical and medical knowledge, but then intersecting it with things that have had significant disruptions in other sectors, and they're starting to come into the work that we're doing. And you know, the way we're at least addressing it right now is, in a sense, crowdsourcing, but it's even more so than that. It's developing deep relationships, partnerships with people with knowledge about the technology, with capabilities that we don't have, but potentially we will build them. But right now, it very much is in deep partnerships and very fruitful collaborative partnerships with the members that intersect with our industry. So you know, this is something that I think your Big Data Challenge does really well, is this intersection and bringing in all these different perspectives to solve, you know, smaller big problems, but just to solve problems.
Yeah, and another thing which I really kind of notice and see growing in this competition, or not competition, it is only at the end. And I like the fact that it is 80–90% is a collaborative work, which doesn't end at the time of the finals, which is still collaboration. I see how other teams are were listening to presentation and picking up ideas. So I see here the element of equity. Equity and the quality of, let's say, research. So and having it as a Canadian competition, I think that this is we are ideal model, because Canada is such a unique country. We practically everything what was founders of not now popular communist ideology were dreaming about, of a different world where people all equal and no boundaries, limits. So we actually, Eleanor, I actually trying to pass the ball to you, and I personally see that we have a mix of talent. We have a mix of talent which is not limited to one specific culture, not limited to one specific community, and that is the power.
Dr. N?
Yeah.
We're going to get started now.
Okay, so you see, I actually had, Susan, something for you, which I would maybe we'll get after we'll do. I prepared something.
Okay. So,
Okay.
all right, let's get started. Hello all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hello all. My name is Faik Ahmed. I am the outreach director for STEM Fellowships National Board at the Big Data Challenge. Welcome to our roundtable discussion. As you can see by me sharing my screen, we have the following panelists. So we have Suzanne Ketley, who's the executive director of Canadian Science Publishing. We would have had Deepak Kora, but unfortunately, actually not fortunately, he is on call and he has to perform a surgical operation, so he will not be with us today. We have our moderator, the respected Dr. N, and then we have Eleanor Hayne Bennett as well, and then finally we have Michael Duong. So quickly, just a quick housekeeping matter. So you can ask questions in the Google Meet chat on the right side of your screen, and please keep yourself on mute for the majority of the panel, because we want our speakers to have no distractions. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. I will hand off the discussion now to Dr. N.
Well, I was trying to fill in like a old conference, fill in the time when the last panel was finishing deliberations. So welcome everybody to the roundtable on big data of personal and public health decisions. Well, it was already mentioned that my name is Sasha Nukovic, and I'm founder and president of STEM Fellowship. I was really excited to see how the academic evaluation and judging was going through previously uncharted waters of online and big data. Since isolation was announced, big data has changed form from a field of study and area of computational tool development to an everyday's reality for the average individual, family, institution, businesses, and society at large. This change presents the most acute problems in part of health information, where the interpretation of pandemic big data directly connected with individual group and public health situation. The new big data reality of our life brings up new challenges. And as for me, I would like our panel to look into the need of powerful open science communication that will overcome the noise of fake news and pseudoscience. I would like to raise the question of real-time decision for medical practitioners and policymakers. And finally, I can only dream about personalized healthcare, which will be free from this small font saying that this medication will cause you these side effects. So having said that, I would, and without further ado, I would like to invite our most valuable and great guests to introduce their field of professional interests. So you would know more, and you will see the wealth of expertise we brought to the round table. So I wonder, I don't see Fake, if you can put back the background so participants can see the names and okay, Susan, maybe you can start.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sasha. And hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here and join you today. It's always a pleasure to be at the Big Data Challenges, and I'm only sorry that it couldn't be held in person today. But as Fayek had mentioned, I'm Suzanne Ketley, and I'm the Executive Director of Canadian Science Publishing. And so my interest really is in the communication of information. Right now we're looking at a health crisis that most of us have never experienced in our lives in COVID. But my publishing house, in fact, publishes a range of different disciplines of journals, but still, it remains the same issues, the same challenges, and that is how to make the information available to people in a timely fashion, and as Sasha was saying, in a way that identifies that it's credible and is not fake. So that to me is the challenge. And I can't really tell you today that I have a solution to that latter issue. I don't. It's a problem that all of us are facing. Sasha, would you like me to elaborate more?
Now, I would love to. And actually, you see, you are practically leading let's say, the movement against pseudoscience in the country and predatory publishers. So if you can share some of these, because, pandemic brought not only the value of open data, but also pandemic created a wave, a destruction of fake news which are coming on one side they're coming from of course absolutely some chain mail, and I see how seniors are suffering from the information which is sent to them with these ridiculous how they can use salty water. I'm sorry, I'm taken away by all this, but if you can brief a bit on the predatory publishers.
Okay. What I was thinking of talking about, which rather leads into that, is the fact that the information has to be available for people to use. And we're in a crisis right now where it's time sensitive. And so it's not necessarily to everybody's best interest that we take the time to evaluate the science when the researchers are scrambling to find solutions to the problem of COVID. That in itself, it's an interesting quandary, because the question is, how do you make the research available for researchers, but at the same time not confuse the general public or the media or policymakers with information that's out there that is not accurate? And so one thing that we've been keeping our eye on are preprint servers. And I don't know if everybody is aware of what a preprint server is, but they're organized data sites where researchers can take their unpublished papers, so before they've even been submitted to a journal, and they can launch them onto a preprint server. There was right when COVID started and the research started to have results, have outputs, there were some instances where journalists went into these preprint servers and they took the research which had not been validated by a peer reviewer, and they published it in the form of articles for their readers. And of course that caused a lot of confusion, on top of the fact that there are other individuals out there who are trying to confuse everybody. And so what the preprint servers did immediately is they put up disclaimers on their sites just saying that this research, please use it with caution because it's not been validated. But I don't think that we should throw out these sorts of concepts, because we do need to have solutions, and we need to have them quickly, and they need to be in the hands of researchers. I was interested, we're talking about collaboration today, and I was interested, there was a scholarly kitchen post recently, which indicated that the research that's going on about COVID is not as internationally collaborative as one would have thought, as we see in other disciplines under normal circumstances. And so it's clear that we do need these servers where they can have access to information. So the question is, how do we validate it? So in my opinion, and I must preface that is solely my opinion. It's important that researchers have access to this information. They are able to read the information and assess it from a researcher's point of view, and so the risk is small. But at the same time, we need to make sure that the general public is educated enough, or at least know what they can trust and what they can't trust. Sometimes it's because somebody puts something out that's fake intentionally, and sometimes it's because it's just not good science and it's not correct. So I think there is room for that. Where what our company does, of course, is we manage the peer review process, and everything that we publish has been validated, and that sits in the middle. But then after that, there's the piece of, well, how does the general public get access to information? Because it's really important that everybody know what's going on in a timely fashion, because information is evolving. And to me, that's where I think we need to put some effort, and we need to have resources to translate science so that you can take it from a complex scientific paper that's not written for the general public and create a document that's clear, concise, and is translated for the general public. And I think that's where the gap is right now, and I think that would help a little bit. In terms of the predatory publishing, it's an ongoing issue, and I think you're right. I think that they seize upon these moments when we're at our most vulnerable to put out information to not necessarily confuse people, but in order for them to make money. And so they will take the money of unsuspecting researchers, and they'll just take the research and they'll publish it, and they'll pretend that it has been peer reviewed. And so that's another issue. And the community, is working towards validation of, or being clearer that information is validated when it's published. But it comes down to that education of the public, so that they know these issues are out there. I'm not sure that completely addresses it, but it's not a simple solution either.
Thank you. It is actually very valuable information for I believe for all audience, because this is young scientists, and I don't know how many of them actually had a chance to publish, or definitely will be considering publishing, and to have a better perspective and understanding of the trends here. It is very important to see the bigger picture of science communication. Eleanor, you're coming from, let's say, you have a global perspective on science communication and science in general, and please, well, and Fike is sharing your credentials so everybody can see. So please, if you can share, give the description of your focus of your work, and what you see most interesting.
Thank you, Sasha, and I'd like to echo what Suzanne said. It's a great pleasure to be here, and I've been reviewing some of these wonderful projects, so congratulations everybody who's been involved in this big day today. So I'm the Programme Officer for Natural Sciences with the Canadian Commission for UNESCO, and UNESCO is United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organisation, and it's comprised of 193 member states, of which Canada is one, and each national commission for a member state is responsible for promoting UNESCO values and priorities within their own country, and also ensuring that the perspectives and expertise in their own country is represented internationally. So what that means is that I ensure that UNESCO activities are running in Canada, but I also call upon Canadian experts to educate the other member states about and bring their expertise to making important decisions. And one of the really big files that I'm working on now is that UNESCO is proposing, well, actually drafting a recommendation on open science. And this will be a global standard setting instrument which will really define what is open science, who are all the stakeholders in open science and how open science should be managed within each member country. So it's going to potentially have huge implications for the way that science is done and what each member state should initiate in terms of policies for the openness of science to society. And the reason why UNESCO is interested in this is that UNESCO considers science to be a human right and a common good. And through that, everybody should have access to science. So in the process of developing this recommendation, UNESCO has been asking, well, who are the stakeholders in open science? And the conclusion they're coming to, it's all people. So to Suzanne's points that she's made before, how do you open up science to everybody, whether that's to primary age children, secondary school students, university, the general public, Joe Public walking down the street? And how do you also open it up to people who do science but might not do it in a way that we think of in terms of like the Western scientific approach? How do you include in a meaningful way things like Indigenous knowledge and traditional knowledges? So these are really big questions which we're asking, and it's a very huge subject. And on the topic of opening up science, one of the big things is that is thinking about sort of global issues like food security, climate change, biodiversity loss, and pandemics. If those are global problems, then the solutions to those problems should be a common good. So there should be a human right. And that's one of the arguments that UNESCO might end up using for persuading member states that science should be open. But the question is how to do that. And that is one of the more difficult things. And part of it, UNESCO was looking at in over the past 4 years with another recommendation, which is about science and scientific researchers. And part of this how to do it is really looking at how do you actually assess what you consider to be excellence in science? Is it literally like the impact factor of the journal that you publish your work in? Or is it your ability to actually translate what you have, the research you've been doing, whether that's as an undergraduate or later on in research stages, is it your ability to translate that for the general public of different ages? And I know that within Canada, a lot of the organizations that fund research have signed up to the San Francisco Declaration, which gives a lot of credit to people being able to communicate their science to policymakers and the general public. And perhaps part of this process of opening up science is to be thinking a bit differently about what qualifies as excellence in scientific research. Is it your ability to publish in a Nature or Science magazine, or is it your ability to actually make sure that you've communicated this clearly to the general public? And I think that in the current context of the COVID-19 pandemic, when I was looking through the projects that are being presented today, I was really pleased to see that there's a lot of analysis looking at social media and COVID-19. And I think that's really important because younger people who are very, very active on social media compared to older people. And there's a lot of communication going on through that. And there's a lot of responsibility placed on young scientists like yourselves to actually effectively communicate what is good science in social media networks. And so I guess kind of my point there is that there is this huge responsibility with science communication, and there's a real need to open up science and to lots of different people, and to understand that it's not just peers who are like with it for researchers that are the big stakeholders in this, but it's everybody. So I think that the analysis of the social media, I think the analysis of the COVID-19 data really fit in well with what we're discussing at the international level with UNESCO about what is open science, who should it be for, and how do you make it open?
Thank you so much. I actually pressed the wrong button, and now looking at myself instead of Michael. We now have a global picture, and you are bringing the future into this global world. So,
trying to.
No, everybody wants personalized healthcare, and you lead this work on behalf of one of the biggest think tanks.
Yeah. So thanks for that, Sasha. So my name is Mike. I am the head of personalized healthcare for Hoffman La Roche, or just Roche. So we, for those of you who don't know, we're one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world. Primary focus for the past few decades has been in oncology and cancer, but moving very rapidly away from cancer into an area that we call integrated health solutions. So this is part of what I do for the company, which is the advancement of personalized healthcare as a way we deliver value to patients, right? And so if you think about, like, what is the role of a pharmaceutical company in the healthcare system? And for, lack of a better description, we are specialists in disease care, right? And so a patient gets ill, they have a disease, and we ultimately come up with a therapeutic that helps them get through, either manage or cure the diseases that they're inflicted with. But we're not a healthcare company. Like we're a disease care company. And so Roche has recognized that over our journey of being one of the top pharmaceutical companies. And we are very rapidly moving into a space where we want to become an integrated healthcare company, deliver health to patients. And the way we think we can do that is to personalize healthcare for patients, really understand, and it's not just patients, it's people. So really understand what a person wants to maintain health, and then what can we do with the resources that we have as a company to deliver that to them, and as an individual, not as a person with breast cancer or a person with lung cancer, but as an individual. Do you want, you may have breast cancer, but do you have a need for increased mental health? Do you think that's gonna, do you and your healthcare providers, do you guys think that's gonna help improve outcomes? And there's studies that show that it does. And so we as an integrated health provider, we want to provide that solution. So it's a holistic look. And it goes beyond that. It goes into looking at social determinants of health. So can we look at what you do? What is your job? Can we look at your stress levels? Can we look at your diet? Can we look at your exercise plan? Can we come up with a solution that is tailored for you as a person, as an individual? And can we come up with these solutions for you so that we can ultimately deliver more health to you? That's the type of company we're becoming, and that's what I'm leading for Roche. And why is open data, open science so important to us? The only way we're going to understand what people need at an individual level, at a holistic level like this, is to be able to analyze all of the massive amount of data that's out there, that's available, from social data sets that can tell us lifestyle behavior of patients, all the way through to clinical data sets that are collected through medical research. We have to have the ability to analyze this, and we can't do it as a closed group of accredited researchers. We need to start opening up these data sets and allowing people with different perspectives to dive into these data sets and give us the insights that we need so that we can provide these solutions. And that's why we're so focused on providing this. So the other role I have, I'm also a founding board member and currently interim CEO of a group called the Canadian Personalized Healthcare Innovation Network. which is a not-for-profit entity that has been set up with the specific purpose to do this, to bring everyone together who has a passion in opening up science and opening up data so that we can advance personalized healthcare. And we support, sponsor, and conduct the various different initiatives with all stakeholders in Canada to accelerate this, but also bring a lot of our work to the international environment, the international world as well.
Thank you, Michael. Before I will actually invite our audience, and we actually have a few questions already to Suzanne. I need to, Angus, I need to ask you to join a judging panel. I understand that you, Angus?
Yeah, just a second. I kind of lost the thing because, I'm back.
No, you need to leave our panel because judge is waiting for you, waiting for your opinion.
But I don't know. I've been trying to get into the right place, and I haven't.
Okay, Fike, if you can please find the link and send it.
Yeah, I'm putting it right now. Putting it right now.
Okay. So, sorry, virtual environment, it is, we can't send the runner who will knock or buzz on your door and take you from one room to another. I am the runner.
Here you go.
Yeah,
I guess you can just check the chat box and it should be there.
If you look, there is a link. If you copy it and place it into your browser, this is where the rest of judges are waiting for you.
The most recent link. So the second one, it's in blue.
The second one, not the first one.
Yeah, the second one. Anish,
Not the first one?
No,
not the first one. The second one.
Okay, hold on.
So, and meanwhile, I'm talking to our participants. I'm inviting you to post your questions. And I see, the first person to answer questions will be Susan. You have actually two questions. You have questions from our board of directors. You see the second question.
I see that.
It is Dr. Gruner decided to ask you a question. Another student of yours.
I'll start with the first.
Okay.
So the question is there any work being done in consolidating research produced in other countries because of language barriers? So to my knowledge, there is not. It seems that the dominant language for research is English, and I don't know how that happened. I don't know why English dominates, but even though in Canada we are bilingual, I can tell you that very, very few of our authors, and certainly not 25%, submit manuscripts in French. It is just understood that if you publish in English, that it will be disseminated and understood by most people. So as far as I know, there is no work being done to translate research. But Ellie, maybe you want to jump in to talk about Indigenous research if you have any idea of what's happening there.
Yeah, thanks, Suzanne. I mean, certainly with there's a lot of, so I'll just step back in my mind from where I was going. My mind was racing ahead of my mouth. So 2021 is actually, or 2022 is actually the start of the International Decade of Indigenous Languages. And so there's a lot of interest in making sure that a number of work that is research that is done with Indigenous peoples is actually made available, because one of the issues when it comes to doing research with Indigenous peoples is that the research is done in the community, taken away, and they don't necessarily benefit from the research. So there's a lot of interest in actually translating it into their own languages, so then the local communities are able to benefit from this. But even wider within the minority francophone situations within Canada, there are issues. So we're currently working with ACBAS, which is a sort of French scientific research organization based in Quebec, but covers all of Canada, to ask what is the relationship between open science and the minority francophone institutions. And sometimes, you know, things can be lost in translation, and there are some very subtleties of language which are very important. And I think this question is really interesting. Why should research always be produced in English when we have, you know, tools like DeepL, which are have AI behind them, which are very, very good as translational tools? And why is it that the research that's perhaps done about related to health in some countries isn't published and accessible to the people who have been the subject of the study? So I think it's a question that needs a lot of discussion, and I'd be really interested to work more on that in the future.
Actually, it would be great if we can have our competition expanded, not expanded in sense of moving it, let's say, and maintaining it within the scope. We do accept both English and French, but actually it will be great if we can expand the competition and make it truly multi-language competition, inviting Latin America with the native languages, inviting Asia with their own research. Because even translation with the best tools, it is actually an impediment of thought. And by maintaining the original thought, it is a way of achieving equal opportunity for countries' development. And well, I'm trying to advocate, saying that yes, Western society is a great magnet for scientific development, but actually this magnet is taking advantage of the countries of origin, and leaving them without this great talent, which let's say Canadian, US, mostly US universities are benefiting from. So that is one of the ideas which, yes, you very well defined. Sorry for intervening, Suzanne. Here is a second question to you.
Sure. No, I'm happy when people participate. I think it's supposed to be an interactive panel, and I completely agree with what Ellie was saying too about the impact of conducting research on populations, but then not giving them the opportunity to actually see the results. So that's, yeah, a different aspect of it. Okay, the next question is from our board member, Daniel Gruner. He says there is a lot of peer-reviewed research that is then called off. This is in large part due to the pressure to publish, and also due to less than stellar review processes, and also not publishing data and methods together with papers. So I will start by saying that I think we can say that Present Company is excluded from this, as in the Canadian Science Publishing Journals or the STEM Fellowship Journal, that we do pride ourselves on our rigorous peer review. I do agree, though, that there have been times, and even recently, where it has been it has been determined that a paper that's been published needs to be retracted because it is not, the results were not correct, or maybe they were fabricated. And I would also agree with your comment, Danny, that it is because of this pressure to publish. There's a tremendous pressure for researchers to publish, and they come up with, well, they have lazy ways and they hope to get it through. the predatory journals that Sasha was talking about earlier, they would facilitate that, unfortunately, because you can simply submit a manuscript. It does not matter what the content is, and they will accept it for publication. Of course, that's not really what Danny's talking about. He's talking about legitimate journals and the peer review fails. And it does happen. I don't feel that it means that we have to stop with the peer review process. It does add value. Is it perfect? No. And I think he's got a couple of solutions there for us to look at, like the fact that we don't always publish the supporting data along with the papers, nor the methods. And we are moving in that direction as an industry, and recommending that authors submit their supporting data into an open data repository, and then the journals can link to that data, at a minimum making that data available to the peer reviewers, so the peer reviewers can have a look at it, so they can validate it to see if it's accurate and good data. And I think the industry is working on those, and I think that it can do nothing but improve. How, the caveat being those predatory publishers, which really do tarnish everything, and it's a different issue.
I see
Thank
that
you.
we are actually.
I think he has a question.
No, I mean, I meant this not for me, because, you know, I knew what the answer was, but I meant it for all the students and all the participants in the challenge, because they're new to publishing.
Mm-hmm.
And we want everybody to understand that they really have to be thorough, and their data has to be good, and their methodology has to be good, and they have to submit themselves to peer review. Otherwise, it may be meaningless, you know, whatever.
Can I jump in there? I did want to add that one of the values that you'll find in peer review is that the peer reviewers will come up with ways that you can strengthen your arguments and strengthen your paper. And a lot of the authors, it's not so much they want to know whether their science is valid, but they want to make sure that it's as thoroughly thought out as it could possibly be. And the peer review process, we get a lot of compliments on that helps them to improve their papers.
Thank you. Thank you. And the last question for Michael, because we actually already went beyond our time limit.
We have until 2:50. We have until 2:50.
2:50. Okay. Then, Michael, here is a question to you from Abdullah. If you can elaborate on.
Sure. I put a little bit of an answer in the chat just because I thought we were ending at 2:45. But the question is, what is the role of genomics in achieving the vision of personalized healthcare? And my answer is that it's massive. It's enormous. It's not the only piece, but it's there is an enormous role, both related to genomic data, but also the field or the industry of genomic analytics. And so the first piece of the data is, you know, we've seen through evidence that, you know, genomic differences between one person to another has the potential to impact up to 40% of health outcomes, right? So that means that you can go from completely, and this isn't a surprise to any scientist, but you can go from completely responding to a drug to not responding from one patient to another based on their genomic information. And that's not just targeted mutations in the genetic makeup, but that could be, you know, the genomic pieces that sort of the epigenome, or even looking at the microbiome. And this is genomic information that comes not from us, but from bacteria that live within us. And understanding that is massive. The second piece is sort of more around, it's a field of research that's just being tapped right now because we've only just unlocked the secrets of the genome. And from that unlocking of the genome comes with it challenges to our ability to understand insights from that genome. And a lot of these challenges are addressed with technology. So we're also in a period where technology is able to allow us to drive insights from the genome, and it's starting to come to healthcare. So cloud computing, data security, data privacy, advanced analytics, artificial intelligence, machine learning, these, as they come to the healthcare system and as they come to sort of healthcare research, will allow us to unlock more secrets out of the genome than we're able to do at any previous time. And you know, the future will benefit even of that.
Sounds good. So, Dr. N, just if you have any closing remarks, because we do have to end at 2:50 to move on to the winning session.
Okay, I want to thank all participants because it is absolutely a great cohort of thinkers, and it is the forward thinkers who are empowered by the data analytics, who are empowered by the ability to use all the big data to reason, to argue the ideas, and I was really pleased to see all the submissions, as well as presentations, which is actually elite of the participants. I want to thank judges and mentors who played a critical role in success, because it is far beyond simple experience. It is practically an open science environment which this program presented. And I want to thank panelists for sharing their views and perspective on the future, where it will go. And finally, but not the least, I want to thank our sole sponsor, Hoffman LaRoche, and it's Michael as representative, who is backed up and make this competition possible. We have high hopes and big beliefs that this program will grow. It was a record numbers, and I want to say that I want personally recognize the team this year, big data team, and fake present here, Anish, Elvira, Rita, well, I don't see Lydia. I simply giving the names by memory. So if I believe I didn't miss anybody, I named the leaders, but there is a bigger team behind. So which made it absolute success from cost to cost. So this is, I think that what we did together, it is just the first step, just the first step into a new type of inquiry and a new type of open science practice. And that is what I'm inviting everybody to continue and carry on.
Okay, thank you, Dr. N. Thank you to all our panelists. Thank you to everyone who's here. We're now going to move on to the winner announcement and closing remarks. So everybody who's a part of it, you're about to be part of the end of the most successful event in STEM Fellowship's history. And I'm going to hand it off to Elvira now, who is going to moderate the remaining time. Elvira?
Hi, Farid. Thank you. So we will be announcing the winners soon. I will be contacting Anish, and he'll be joining us in a second.
Yeah, Anish said he'll join around 3. So should we wait until he joins, or is he going to let you know the winners?
He will announce the winners, but give me a second.
Sure. Okay, so everybody just sit tight. Just give Elvira a minute or two.
Yeah, I believe the main reason why we're still waiting is because the judges are still making their decision. Probably there is a tough call going there.
Yeah, so I guess I should be entertaining everyone while we wait, just so there isn't a crazy amount of suspense. So one thing I will let everyone know is thank you so much for participating. There's so many people in this call already, but the event itself had numbers like over 500, which was amazing. One more thing that I want to say is if you have any siblings that are younger, if you have any children that are younger, especially in high school, Elvira knows this. We're gonna have our high school big data challenge, which is going to um, come up in a couple months actually. So once we announce the theme for that and etc., we'll put all of that stuff out on our LinkedIn, Instagram, website, stuff like that. So if you do have any younger acquaintances, please let them know because our high school big data challenge is just as quality and just as worthwhile of an event as the undergraduate big data challenge.
Yeah, we will be having informational sessions somewhere in the end of September, and we'll be individually contacting high school representatives and high school teachers so that they can spread about information about high school big data challenge to students.
Yep. So yeah, Anish said about 10 minutes. 3:05. So yeah, we're expecting about a 10-minute wait until they've made the big decision. So yeah, just sit tight.
Maybe I can play again the greetings from Prime Minister.
Sure. Yeah, if you
Yeah,
want.
that would be great.
Okay, let me find it.
Yeah, in the meantime, guys, if you're interested in joining STEM Fellowship, you're more welcome to do that. Currently, we're hiring for the Outreach Ambassador position. So if you're interested, you can go to our social media, Facebook, Instagram, to find out more about this position.
So I'm loading the video from the Dropbox.
You can just screen share, and then you can say you want to share your
Yeah,
audio.
I am trying to get rid of service Dropbox service, and then I will screen share.
Perfect.
1 second.
Additionally, teams, if you would like to be featured in our Instagram or social media, for those who still haven't sent our social media team like their photos, their commentaries about the Big Data Challenge, you can still do that, and you'll be featured in our social media.
Okay. Do you see it?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay. I hope it will come with sound.
Hello, everyone. Bonjour à tous, and happy Big Data Day. For starters, I want to say congratulations to all the finalists. You've worked hard to get here, and you should be proud of the work you've done and the presentations.
I think it's muted.
Okay. Okay. I can actually hear it, but something.
You can try replaying it from the beginning, but like unshare and then share again. Maybe that'll work.
Okay, let me stop. I'm sharing the tab. Yes.
Yeah, and then just make sure to press share audio as well.
Okay. Present.
Yep.
Best for video and animation. Share audio. Yes. Share.
Hello, everyone. Bonjour à tous, and happy Big Data Day. For starters, I want to say congratulations to all the finalists. You've worked hard to get here, and you should be proud of the work you've done and the presentations you've put forward. La pandémie de la COVID-19 est un défi mondial qui nécessite une importante coopération entre les différents secteurs, les gouvernements et les pays. Et une prise de décision basée sur les données doit aussi être au cœur de nos efforts. Now, more than ever, we need our brightest minds working together, analyzing the data, and coming up with new ideas. because we know that the policies we develop and the decisions we make as a government must be based on science, data, and facts if we want them to be effective. And thanks to this year's Big Data Challenge, you've already started looking at the different aspects of the COVID-19.
So I just heard back from Anish. Judges and Anish will be joining us soon at 3:05.
5 minutes, everyone.
Okay, I'm closing. It doesn't work for me. Sorry. So to everybody, STEM Fellowship will be doing some outreach regarding the internships, and one of the prizes, as you know, it is actually introduction for internship with the Hoffman LaRoche. And another one, it is Diabetes Canada. So we also have a number of new connections, and we'll be further facilitating our participants in finding interesting industry opportunities. And the last piece of information, we are practically ready to go ahead, and the scholarly publication of conference proceedings. So the publication by NRC Research Press, led by Susan, will be out, if not this week, then the beginning of next week. So you can start adding the scholarly publication to your CVs, as well as we will be keeping the records of your presentations, your research work. We'll be keeping in sense of open science. We'll be keeping it available through the STEM Fellowship YouTube channel. And your defense recordings for reference and for your future, let's say, future opportunities.
In regards to the publications, the abstracts will be posted somewhere like by the end of this month, and the winning publications will start the peer review and the whole process after the winner's announcement. So it might take longer, but it depends on the peer review process.
Okay, everyone. So Anish should be joining any second now. He's our director for the Big Data Challenge, so he'll be joining, and then yeah, he's here. He's here.
All right, hello everyone. After a long hour of deliberation with the judges, we finally have our winners. I'm terribly sorry for the almost 20-minute delay now. But you know, with that, I think it's better if I just present, because at this point I feel that you're all sick of hearing our STEM fellowship voices. So let me quickly present with some visuals. Share that and present. Beautiful. All right, so hello, welcome. Thank you all for your patience. We now have the winners. Let us go. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, so for our first category of prizes, for the Public and Personal Health Presentation Awards, in first prize, we have the project titled Leveraging Machine Learning Methods to Predict COVID-19 Vulnerability in US Counties Based on Socioeconomic Factors. They will win $1,500 Canadian, as well as the chance to publish in our STEM Fellowship Journal. Second place is rewarded to the project titled Identifying COVID-19 Instagram Behavior Patterns via a Novel Network Analysis Pipeline. They will be awarded 600 Canadian dollars. And third prize goes to the project titled An Analysis of the COVID-19 Infodemic, the extensive and disproportionate impact of public figures on public behavior and sentiment towards hydroxychloroquine. Now, this set of award was very clear cut, and I give a huge thanks to the judges that helped score these and assign theirs and send them to me promptly. So good job to all the teams, and a very good job to these three top teams. Next up, we have the Public Personal Health Decisions Research Excellence Award. So this is a category designed entirely based on the research that was conducted, and this was graded based heavily on the manuscript provided. So first prize, which will be awarded $1,500 plus a publication within the STEM Fellowship Journal, is an analysis of the COVID-19 infodemic, which was the third place of the previous award set. Second prize will go to the project titled Deep Learning Transcriptomic Model for Prediction of Pan-Drug Chemotherapeutic Sensitivity, with the final prize going to the project titled Leveraging Machine Learning Methods to Predict COVID-19 Vulnerability. Now, with this, I want to give some special thought to, in that there was a lot of heavy deliberation on the side of the judges, as there were both ties as well as some very fruitful discussions that came about, because every single project did do a fantastic job, and it was really close on this one. All right, now for our final award category, the Public and Personal Health Innovation Award, and this was awarded to the team that showed the most innovative solution in a practical manner, right? So the research was not only novel and groundbreaking, but it also has the feasibility and ability to be applied in a real-world setting. And this will be awarded to the project titled A Convolutional Neural Net Approach for Skin Cancer Detection. Now, with that, I just want to say thank you all for this very amazing and successful Big Data Day, and I thoroughly appreciate all of your hard work in making this possible over the past couple months now, since it's July. With that, thank you all kindly, and I will end this call, and we will be in contact with the winner shortly. All right, everyone have a wonderful day, and I'll be in contact soon. Bye-bye.